Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's Real Estate Authority, Barb Schlinker. Barb is a retired Navy veteran. Barb is an author. Barb Schlinker is also a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday, and if you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or just search for it on YouTube or on podcasts like iHeartRadio. You'll find her in both locations. Barb, what are we talking about this weekend?
Well, Richard, thank you. And I'm excited about today's show. The first topic is on a lot of people's minds right now, which is are home prices in Colorado heading up or down? We don't know. It's weird. We're seeing some mixed signals. Like if you go to Florida, a lot of the prices are dropping substantially. And that really has to do with hurricanes and insurance and things like that. Condos not being able to resell, they can't get loans. There's some blacklisted properties that were actually blacklisted by Fannie Mae just solely based on the age of the building. So crazy stuff going on there, but not so much in Colorado. And Realtor.com actually predicted that Colorado and Colorado Springs in particular would be the hottest existing resale market in the country for 2025. So we're seeing some good signs, but we're also seeing some softening here and there. So we're going to deep dive into that. And then the second subject is about pricing. I actually do this every week. I meet with a whole bunch of sellers and we sit down and we talk about what the market's doing around their home, their similar sales, and how do you set the right price for your home here in Colorado to get it sold in a reasonable amount of time. The third topic is about what do listing agents and buyer agents do? I think you'll be surprised to find that there is no job description for real estate agents. There's very little guidance or parameters that come down from the state licensing board, and all the rest is the Wild West. So we're going to talk a little bit about what they do, what they don't do, and as a consumer, what you can do to protect yourself to make sure you get served properly. And the very last topic we're going to hit on is something that I get asked an awful lot. What do we need to do to downsize, to declutter, to prepare our home for sale? Most people don't live in the home the same way they put it on the market. Very few people are clutter free. At least that's what I'm seeing in my practice. So we're going to talk about the steps in order to get ready to downsize and declutter. And as always, I love talking about my hot new listings. Richard?
Now, Barb, if you look online about home prices, it gives the impression that in some other areas of the country, home prices are falling. So, what are you seeing for home prices here in Colorado, especially along the Front Range?
Well, this is a great place to live. It's beautiful. The weather is most of the time really nice. And there's a lot of outdoor activity. There aren't very many bugs. There's a lot to do around here. So it's a highly desirable, considered a garden spot to live. But what we're seeing is that the active listing prices aren't really looking the same as recent historic sales. So that would give me a clue of a trend is happening right now. And that's one of the things that I do is I research data in different areas. I do it on a pretty much daily basis for the current clients that I'm meeting with. And I also do it on a weekly basis for this show. So unlike other areas where we're seeing price corrections, we're not really seeing much of that right now. But a home seller really has to consider what is their current competition? Who are they competing with right now? I've got a home that just sold down in Fountain, and many of the competing homes around that home were brand new, whereas this one was over 20 years old. So some of the buyers are saying, nice home, but we opted for a brand new house. Even though they couldn't get a home quite as big, when you buy a new home, these builders are giving away a lot of incentives to get buyers to buy their homes. I've seen discounts as much as $45,000, either for closing cost, buying the rate down, taking some money off the price, just to get buyers in the door. So if you're a home seller on a resale home, you have to consider everything around you before you make a good decision about how you're going to position the home for sale. And in general, buyers buy on house payments for the most part. Most of them are basically having to get a loan and they're having to afford that monthly payment on the home. The good news, though, is the rates have actually pretty much stabilized in the past probably 3 or 4 weeks. They went back into the sixes in February, and they've been pretty much the same almost every week. Tiny fluctuations you'll see on a daily basis. But as of the recording right now, we're showing a 30-year fixed is a 30-year fixed is 6.75, and the VA and FHA government loans are in the low sixes. So for most buyers, they can manage that, especially if they get some support to buy their mortgage rate down. They can actually get their rate down into the fives if they pay a little bit more cash up front and make that payment more affordable. So what most agents do is when they tell a seller, I think you should price your home here, they're looking at historic sales. Well, here's one that's like your home, Mr. Seller, that sold for this much. And typically, if you look at 3 or 4 of them, you're going to see a big wide range in sale prices for that similar sale. But I don't just look at similar sales. I kind of try to put my buyer hat on and take a look at what a buyer can get in that general price range. And you don't have to be like an appraiser to do that. I find that the buyers actually are way more educated about the current market in their price range than even some real estate agents are, because they're constantly looking. They can see, oh, look, I can get this home that has this much square footage at this price, as compared to that one that's smaller or that one that's dated, whatever it is that they're looking for. They know the market in their little area that they're looking in quite well. And you'll be able to tell by the showing activity once you go on the market whether or not the buyer community actually thinks that your home is priced what I call realistically versus optimistically. And that's why a lot of people kind of look at Zillow and the Zillow, what they call Zestimates. They had to put a Z in front of it because they got sued. But basically, they have some sort of calculation that they come up with. They call it an algorithm, which makes it sound cooler, but that doesn't mean it means anything. They kind of average the sales around you based on square footage. And we know that certain floor plans are more desirable than others. We know that certain locations, whether or not the home has views, makes it more desirable than others. And what the Zillow calculation does essentially is just average the homes around you and go, okay, we think your home is worth this much. The problem is, for a home seller and for buyers, they are definitely looking at these values because they have a lot of eyes on their website. Zillow has 220 million monthly visitors watching their website in their local area every single month. So they know that they have a lot of the population that's looking for homes looking at their website, right? And they will actually, even if the home's on the market, they will put their opinion of value regardless of where it's priced. And in general, your first impression is going to be online. And your first impression is also going to be about pricing because the buyers can see everything around it. And most buyers are looking for the best home that they can get in their price range. So if you are thinking of making a move, this is one of the things that we help home sellers with every single week. We show them what similar sales look like. We also show them what their current competition looks like. And that way we give them really good information so they can make an educated decision about how to position their home based on their needs, their timeline, and in a short amount of time. It's a free service, and of course, you're never obligated to sell. Right now, we have over 28,127 buyers in waiting just on our little website, in addition to Zillow's 220 million. So generally we can match as many as 700 buyers to your home, and we can market directly to those buyers that are a high match for your home. So just call us at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And you can reach Barb and her team at 719-301-3900. We're talking about whether or not home prices are dropping here locally. Will you please share with us the current market trends, Barb Schlinker?
Well, it's interesting. I'm looking at all the different areas up and down the Front Range, and some counties the prices are coming up. Some they're softening, and the data I'm getting is actually almost real time. So, as an example, El Paso County, since the beginning of the year, the prices have come up a good $30,000, while the average days on market have dropped about 20 days. So that's a good sign for El Paso County. Douglas County has really stepped up in price quite a bit, probably over $30,000. And the same thing, average days on market dropped from like 110 down to 84. But the prices are higher definitely in Douglas County as compared to El Paso County. Places like Aurora are looking very flat pretty much. Median price is in about the 540 range, but the average days on market is longer, 145 days. So out in that area, there is a lot of new construction competition, and you definitely have to consider that when you're thinking of selling a home. Teller County, the prices have softened a bit. The prices have come down into the mid fives, while the average days on market is kind of staying the same at 137. But I wouldn't worry too much about that. Teller County tends to really peak out in the summer because it's up in the mountains, and that would be true for any mountain community. People come out in force in the summer and they all fall in love with the area, and the prices tend to go up. Even Pueblo is going up in its median list price, and average days on market are dropping. Highlands Ranch is up there, into the mid nines, and it really zoomed up from, say, the fall. Average days on market only 52 days. In a place like Littleton, the prices have dropped a bit down to 822 for a median price. Average days on market 89. So even older homes are selling for a pretty substantial price up in Littleton. So we look at values all over the area. What it means for home buyers is that if they can afford, I would not wait. We're not going to see a crater of pricing. I don't predict that that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a little bit more of the same. Probably it'll end the year higher than it was at the beginning of the year. So if you can afford it and you like the home, don't wait. You can always refinance almost for free. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about how do you set a price for your home here in Colorado in order for it to sell.